Hello, folks, and welcome to the Up sessions on this World Mental Health Awareness Day 2024. My name is Martin Daubey, and I'm coming to you from Basel, where I run a coaching company called Inspire Coaching, and we help people be at their very, very best every day without burning out. So for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to have a look at what we know as the Sunday night blues and that Monday morning anxiety that goes with it. I've got a structured approach, but first of all, what is it? What is Sunday night blues? Well, it's that thing you get on a Sunday afternoon, evening, where you start to focus on the Monday morning and it fills you with dread because A, there's so much to do. There's people you need to interact with that you don't interact with very well. And the boss is a bit of a, well, you get the picture. It's the psychological effects of anticipating the tasks ahead, those deadlines that have to be met in the shortest space possible. Phrase I keep hearing a lot is doing more with less, and the ever increasing workload, which actually will never go away. Work will always be there. There is a massive link between anxiety and control, or lack of control, over the upcoming week. So, you might ask yourself, how you typically feel on a Monday night, and start to think about ways that are going to create a sense of connection and normalcy around those feelings. If you are feeling any way bluesy about Monday morning, or you're getting into that funk on a Sunday evening, you're not alone. It's one of those things that happens to an awful lot of people. And there are many reasons why. But let's have a look about what you can do right now to change that perception. So shift your perception, your perspective on the Mondays from one of dread to one of maybe curiosity and opportunity. If you can reframe that Monday morning as a fresh start rather than an upcoming battle, look at those small wins from the past week. So do a bit of reflection, maybe keep a journal. I know you've heard that before, but try it. Maybe keep a journal and then look at the good things that happen during the week. There's always good things. And if you find at least 3 in a week, I'm sure you probably find 3 a day if you look for it. Let's start off with three a week. The gratitude and win journal, have a go at writing down 3 things you're proud of or grateful for from the previous week. So it could be something you achieved, a target you made, a goal that you got to, or it could be how someone helped you when you were in a bit of a pickle and didn't quite know how to do it. Or it could be as simple as the coffee tastes good today. But it can be professional, it can be personal. Whatever it is, the focus is on the gratitude and the wins. It doesn't have to be long. You don't have to write paragraphs on it. It just could be a little note, a jotting memory, so that when you do get in a bit of a funk, you can look back and say, actually, I am quite good. Reflect on how, as you reflect, it boosts your mood and then perhaps changes your perception of the Monday. One of the key things, one of the biggest challenges people have, and what gets them funky about Sunday evenings and going into Monday, is the amount of work they have to do. So it's partly a lack of planning. Speaking personally, I have a high degree of adaptability and quite often don't plan. It can drive some people bonkers, but if I have that adaptability about what can go on and what I might do, then I always get to where I need to be at the right time. Kind of works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, but planning anything can reduce some sort of anxiety, and having that structure around your week can make it easier to navigate the week. You could break down big tasks into manageable chunks, reducing the feelings of overwhelm. So if something is huge, think, okay, well, that's huge in itself. We can't build the Titanic in one day, but I can build this bit and it can, you know what I'm saying. Identifying priorities. So what's really urgent and what's important rather than what's nice to do, and setting realistic goals for the week. There is, of course, the book, Eat That Frog. Where's my frog? Here he is, little frog there. If you think of your task today as being a frog, a live frog sitting on your desk going, eat me, eat me, the best time to eat that frog is first thing in the day. If your frog is representing something that you have to do, even if you don't want to do it, the best time to do that is first thing in the day. What happens then is you can relax and your day becomes much more of a breeze. Of course, if you've got two big, ugly tasks and one is bigger than the other, you eat the biggest, ugliest one first, making the smaller one a little bit easier to digest. But at least you've done two big, ugly tasks that morning and can have a cup of coffee, if only to take the taste away. You can take 2 minutes to jot down 2 or 3 of your top tasks for Monday. And believe you me, once you use the action of taking something like this, we call it a pen, and you put it onto paper and you write that out, you scribble that out on a paper, it gets out of your head, it's on paper, it's captured, your psyche knows that it's captured. You don't really have to worry about it anymore because you can look at that on Monday morning and go, yeah, that's what I need to do. And just talk with others how simple planning can alleviate stress by providing clarity. If you're a team leader, by the way, if you can wrap up your Friday with a team, just have 20-minute, let's just close the week down and plan what you might be doing on Monday, it takes the stress away from them too. You'd be doing everyone a favor. Now, let's look at techniques for relaxation and mindfulness. I know, mindfulness, I know. But believe me, if you haven't given it a try, it's really, really worth giving it a try. The importance of mindfulness is to calm the nervous system. It's not a state of calm, but by being mindful, you become calm. So in mindfulness, you stop worrying about what's happened because it's already gone. But what's the point of worrying about what you did? Unless it's super criminal, then yeah, maybe. But anyway, at work, what's the point of worrying about a future event that hasn't happened yet? Because it could turn out completely different to how you want it to do. So actually, anxiety is a warning from your subconscious mind to focus on what you want the outcome to be, what you want your behavior to be, rather than all the things that can go wrong. So I'm not saying ignore these emotional states that come up, recognize them, become much more self-aware, recognize the emotional energy of anxiety or worry or fear. Ask yourself, what is it about that situation that I'm choosing to worry about? And then figure out a way around and reframe it in a way that it will happen the way you want it to happen. The mindfulness piece, though, is kind of a bit of a breathing, a bit of a being aware. Mindfulness is truly living in the now. So a lot of people like to think that they'll get the next thing. I know someone who bought a Porsche because he thought it was great to buy a Porsche, and then he had it. He was bored with it. He goes out and collects Rolex watches, and it's not the acquisition necessarily; it's the journey to the acquisition, and then he's bored with it. And so he's always looking at that thing, and when I get it, I'll be happy, rather than recognizing I can be happy now. There's a lot about now that you can be grateful for and enjoy. So calm your mind. 5-minute exercise. Well, you can do this for 2-3 minutes. A deep breathing exercise relaxes the response. Your body's tension disappears. Your autonomic nervous system starts to re-regulate. When we're stressed, when we're in anxiety, when we're in worry, we're flooding our nervous system with the stress hormone cortisol, which is not good for us, to keep it at high level all the time. And when we regulate our breathing, we can rebalance our nervous system to reduce the cortisol load and increase the DHEA, the youth hormone, DHEA. So we can relax ourselves and rebalance our autonomic nervous system to be out of fight and flight and more into the rest and digest kind of situation. Now, my recommendation is always low and slow. So that's down into your belly and not up into your chest. So when you breathe in, move your diaphragm and push down. If you've never done that before, the best place to do that is lying flat on your back, either bed or the floor or wherever. Put one hand on your chest, that won't move. One hand on your belly, and it will go up and down, up and down. Do you remember if you've ever had children, little babies, or seen little babies, or been a child yourself, you'll know that your belly is where your breathing is, and that's the best place to relearn to do that now. We kind of unlearn it when we go to school and get into sports and we breathe up here rapidly. But what I'm asking you to do is breathe down, low, and slow at a rate that's comfortable for you. And if you can do that, you will start to get into a sort of physiological coherent state and rebalance your nervous system and feel the calmness. There's many, many more techniques, obviously, and there's much more I can teach you there, but not on this call. If you create a Monday morning routine, just designing a simple uplifting Monday morning routine, you can set the tone for the week. It's all about intention. So the power of rituals, however small, intentional actions can actually boost your mood and your energy. Tailoring your routine to include some self-care, maybe some exercise, maybe a little bit of journaling about what your intentions are, or maybe a favorite activity. Now, the exercise one is quite interesting. I discovered fairly recently by the late Dr. Michael Mosley that the action of shifting your head height through squatting or push-ups has a beneficial effect on your brain health and gets much more oxygen and blood flow to your brain, which is a good thing, much better than sitting stagnant all day. And then I thought, well, there are these micro moments during the day. I don't need to do 30 minutes solid. I can do bits of exercise, like you would do a 20, 30-minute walk over lunchtime or something like that. That's good for you every day. Good thing. But you can do things like squats in the kitchen. You don't need to go to the gym. So if you know how to do a squat, and if you don't, plenty of YouTube videos to do that. I timed that I can actually do 20 squats by the time my coffee's brewed. Now, if I have 2 cups of coffee, that's 40 squats. Bingo. That's really, really good. And I didn't put on any extra clothing to do that. So I recommend finding these little spaces in time during the day where you can do your little bits of exercise that are just going to help. Now, maybe you could include, well, just think for a moment, just take a pause. You can pause this recording, pause and just think about how you want to feel. What do you want to do? How do you want to start the day? When you have started the day feeling really, really good, what did it feel like? And see if you can't step back into that. Maybe you can share aspects of your routine with your team or your partner or whoever else is in the apartment with you. Just build it. Maybe they can all join together. You can do these squats in the kitchen while the coffee's being made. I don't know. Then we need to manage your expectations and your self-compassion. There's a huge amount of self-compassion required on all sorts of things. How many times have you said to yourself, oh, you stupid? Why are you so stupid? If you do say things like that to yourself, things that you wouldn't say to your best friend, don't say them to yourself. It really does knock things back. If you have some compassion for being a human, we all make mistakes. We all try and stop eating something and then find ourselves eating it. Well, that's human. So allow yourself to do that and just make a promise that actually I'm going to stop now. Is that like people who try and give up smoking and they go for 10 days and they just have one and then they have a few more and they go, no, I'm going to stop. Habits take a long time to break and remake. So give yourself a break if you're not remaking new habits. Didn't know where that was going. Practice self-compassion during tough weeks and stressful moments. You are responding to an external situation. As you build self-awareness, you'll realize you're doing it and you'll realize you're about to do it. And the trick is to build your self-awareness so much that you actually tap into those emotional feelings that are coming up, recognize them, deal with them, and don't do the behavior of being stressed. I'm not saying don't ignore it, but choose a different way to behave, choose a different emotional state to be in. Maybe you can reflect on a time when you were hard on yourself, particularly at work. I know I was a very hard self-taskmaster. I was even called out for it. And then how you could approach a similar situation with a bit more self-compassion, a bit more self-love. So think about this as you go through the next weekend. Have a look at reframing your Monday. You know, even if your Monday has that dreadful meeting, my last corporate job always had a Monday morning meeting. It was always dreadful. But if you choose to find a little bit of useful information in a meeting, however dreadful and however badly run. You can often find it. So instead of going into that meeting full of dread, go into that meeting with a massive amount of curiosity. Make sure you plan your day, your week, know when you're going to do certain things. Ring fence them, for goodness sake. Set your boundaries. Someone comes up, can you just, well, no, I can't just, I'm busy. I've got this to do. If you don't want me to do what I'm doing, maybe you could ask my boss and then have a word with them, and they can release me from this, because at the moment I believe it's urgent and important. Have those moments of mindfulness, those moments of really calming down, really being present. You'll find your internal energy batteries being recharged, and that what used to drain you by the end of the week now doesn't anymore, and gives you actually a better weekend than you had before. Find those morning routines that you find uplifting. Put some music on that you enjoy. Do those little exercises, a little bit of journaling perhaps, but find those things that you find gives you energy so you can start the day really energized. And then have that self-compassion. Not everything is going to go right. And even those people who you think it always goes right for, it doesn't. So just be compassionate for yourself. A little bit of self-care isn't selfish. So just think about that. One thing that you might be taking away that you didn't know you were going to do. It'd be lovely to know if that can that works for you. Focusing on these key topics, you'll be able to leave this session, I hope, with a bit of a toolkit that you didn't have before, and maybe put some of it into practice and have yourself a lovely weekend and a joyful Monday morning.